Starting in about 2 minutes. Thank you very much. Good morning again. Appreciate a Sunday morning or early afternoon get together. My name is Art DiBenedetto. I'm very proud to be the superintendent of schools in Hapatcong. I need to talk to you about Tuesday, the 26th of September. I have tried my best to be transparent with all the happenings on the 26th. I've explained that this is simply a yes or no vote on 2 questions. I have explained that if question 1 passes and question 2 fails, we go ahead with question 1 projects. If question 1 fails and question 2 passes, the project is dead. And obviously, if both questions fail, the project is dead. I've spent a lot of time talking to people and posting on the website information about the referendum. There are 25 projects involved, and that is a lot. I've talked about the cost, which is close to $27 million, and I've talked about the fact that a third of that will be provided to us by the state of New Jersey via debt service state aid. I've talked about the tax impact on the average house in Hapatcong, which is about $216,000. It comes out to slightly less than $200. And I've dealt with a significant amount of difficulty with regard to people trusting whether or not I am telling the truth. So I need to demonstrate a few things to you. For example, if one walks around town or drives around town, they see vote no, so your taxes don't increase 7%. Ladies and gentlemen, that is misrepresented. Your school tax takes up about 50 to 52% of your tax bill. The rate per $100 in Hapatcong is $3.49 per 100. If one does the math, they would find out that the tax increase is 5% of 52% of your tax bill. That is not 7% of your tax bill, as the placards say. So I have been dealing with misinformation. I have not asked one person to vote yes for the referendum. I have simply asked them to educate themselves so that you could make an educated decision as to whether or not what we're doing is appropriate. I've given the rationale. I've spent a lot of time answering specific and in the information on the website. I've gotten great questions from people. I am impressed by the depth and the ability for people to analyze things, and I like that. So I've been providing, if someone asks me a question, I give them an answer as soon as possible. I've also been sort of decimated by a board member who has taken it upon himself to post on Facebook and to email individual people in town items that are, again, misrepresented. I'm going to quote a couple of things to you to demonstrate that. For example, in an email, in a posting on Facebook from Mr. DiStefano, he states, enrollments are projected to slowly decline for the next 5 years before stabilizing. Enrollment is projected to be 1,308 in 2032. He's quoting from the feasibility study that he says I have hidden and not shared with anybody, but anybody who wants it it's been sent to them. The feasibility study, one reason I didn't give it a lot of credence is that it is filled with misrepresentations also. Our enrollment went up last year, first time in many years, and this year it went up more significantly. So the fact that the feasibility study says the district will see continued enrollment lessening for 5 years is false. I am not counting the 100+ preschool students that we are now serving in town, and our enrollment still went up by close to 40 students. As you know, right down in town, recently posted on the digital post board, was the fact that Hapakong has very good affordable housing. And we have a good number of young families with kids moving in, and it's going to continue to affect our enrollment. Phil also puts forth the proposition that we should close 2 schools, the Tulsa Trail School and the Durban Avenue School. He claimed originally that that was what the feasibility study recommended, but that is a stretch of the truth. I'm going to read from the feasibility study. They're talking about the option of closing 2 schools. Although we believe consolidation of all grades in the middle school and high school is theoretically possible, there will be little excess capacity to accommodate specialized spaces for growing disabled and English language learning populations. There will also be limited space available to accommodate additional students if unexpected enrollment increases occur. For these reasons, we are not recommending that option. But if you look at Mr. DiStefano's, I call it his epistle, if you look at it, he says that the recommendation from the feasibility study is to close 2 schools. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing this 51 years, and the State Department of Education would never, ever allow us to close 2 schools, especially with enrollment beginning to turn around. But this is the stuff that I'm dealing with. I'm not dealing with the facts of what we're trying to do. I'm dealing with misrepresentation of information. If you come into town from different areas, there are a significant number of signs. Vote yes, vote no. The vote yes signs are disappearing. Somebody has taken it upon themselves to take down the vote yes signs. Again, I haven't asked anybody to vote yes. I asked you to educate yourself so that you could make a decision. I have trouble when somebody takes it upon themselves to limit what essentially is the freedom of speech of those people who believe in supporting the referendum. That is troublesome. And that's what I'm dealing with. I'll have plenty of time for questions and comments, please. Please. Another item that came out in this particular, I don't know if this was mailed or emailed to people. It says $27 million will be spent on facilities only, not for student programs. This was not even put out for competitive bids, which could have reduced taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot put out bids for anything in the referendum unless it passes. You will have bids put out for each of the 25 projects. We may choose to select somebody who's in a cooperative that the state allows us to utilize, but not if we get a lower bid by a bidder who is reasonably well known and respected. So this, again, is another piece of misinformation. And I can't talk to everybody in town, but there are a lot of people who believe this stuff. And what I'm trying to put forth is that we're already underdogs. Less than 20% of the population in Hapatcong has school-aged children. 80% of the people don't have school-aged children. Do you think we're an underdog? I understand tax burden and tax increase, and I have great respect for the senior citizens who've lived here many years. I understand they don't want their taxes up. But if you went to a public school in New Jersey, somebody voted yes for a referendum that allowed you to attend a public school. To me, that's part of the democratic process, and that's the beauty of our country. The word referendum essentially is the same as a referee. Yes or no. If I'm a football referee, did you go offside? Yes or no? If you did, I throw the flag. In a referendum, you vote yes or no. If you vote yes, we do it. If you vote no, we go back to the drawing board. But at least make a decision on the truth and not the stuff that's being spread about where we are. As I said, I did the math on taxes. According to the Sussex County website, the official website of Sussex County, the tax rate per $100 in Hapatcong, I don't want to get this wrong, is $3.49 per 100. If you figure that out on the average home, the taxes for schools come to approximately $3,790. That is about 5% of half your tax bill, not 5% of your total tax bill. I can't say that enough because of the frustration. Your taxes go up 7 to 10%. That's just not true. I've been questioned about why we have the referendum now instead of waiting until November. Good question. And the reason we couldn't wait till November is there is a significant backlog in the facilities operation of the state of New Jersey. If we did not get a September referendum, we would not have had a chance to get in at the regular election in November. We would have been put off until December because of that backlog. A December referendum, Christmas time, probably not the best idea. When you're already the underdog, having a referendum asking people to give us money at Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate, not the best idea. That meant it would have had to go into February. That is why the referendum is Tuesday, the 26th of September. The referendum will be held in your normal voting places. The polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Usually school elections do not get a significant turnout. I believe Hapatcong might be a little different, and we will have a more significant turnout, and I welcome that. I only ask that you don't base your vote on falsehood. What are we trying to do? Ladies and gentlemen, our schools, the high school, Tulsa Trail, built in the 60s. Durban, built in the early 70s. Our youngest school is 43 years old, built in 1980 at the middle school. If you go into any of the four buildings, there are places where you will see significant need for not repair, but replacement. The doors at the middle school are the original doors put in 1980. Some of the HVAC systems have been changed over once in 50 or 60 years. We have 2 oil tanks, one at Durban and one at the middle school, that must be replaced. It's not our choice. Their time is up. We have to change it as per state regulations. Those are two major items. The high school roof alone. The high school is an immense building. The high school roof alone, some parts of which have been done over 4 times, because some people said we didn't maintain them. We've done our best to maintain them. The high school roofs will cost over $8 million. The Tulsa Trail roof will cost close to $1.5 million. That is why the referendum numbers expanded. That is what we're trying to deal with. Someone says the referendum has nothing to do with kids. Well, I beg to differ. Our kids need a safe environment. How many public buildings do you go into that don't have air conditioning? Unfortunately, a lot of schools are like that. We are looking to, one of the great questions I got, are the HVAC changes, do they include air conditioning? And the answer is yes. We have work to be done on fields. We have work to be done on the auditorium, including rigging, safety lighting, sound upgrades. We have to replace fire doors. You might notice if you went to a football game, there's no scoreboard because the scoreboard is broken and we don't have the money to fix it. And that's annoying to some people. But it is a fact. Ladies and gentlemen, on the budgets voted on in the past, people no longer vote on the budgets, but the district saw a significant number of budget failures after a 2003 referendum that failed. Just after budgets were stopped being voted on, the district got whacked with state aid cuts. When I got here, we were getting close to $12 million in state aid. We're down to about $4 million. That is done by the state. That has nothing to do with the voters, has nothing to do with anybody. We are in a situation where if we don't act, we're going to have a problem. What might the problems be? I can't delve into them specifically. It's inappropriate for the superintendent to talk about problems. But there was a significant conversation before I came back here about Tulsa Trail being sold. You can't sell Tulsa Trail when it needs $1.5 million roof. No one's going to buy it. There was significant talk about moving high school kids to another high school. Imagine Hapakong High School boarded up. What might that do to your property values? That would have a significant impact. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot afford to let this just dribble away down the drain. We have too much at stake, especially with our enrollment having turned around. Now, can I guarantee you that the enrollment is going to increase? Probably not. But as I said, where is there affordable housing? One of the top 10 areas in the state, in Hapakong. Where are families buying those houses? In Hapakong. Are they old families or young families? They're young families with kids. They're coming to us, and we need to be ready for them. If the referendum does not pass, I will have a plan. Mr. Hollenbeck and myself will have a plan by the October board meeting to discuss what we might do. However, all bets are off as to what happens to the district, because I cannot put kids in a situation where they're unsafe because roof work hasn't been accomplished where it is necessary. I'm going to ask if you have questions or if you have comments, because I have some handouts that I'll give to you on the way out, Everything I have here is on the website. If you're like me, you like reading paper instead of digital stuff. But you can check it in either place. If you don't need a handout, don't take one. I think there's more people here than I have handouts. I'm very impressed that you would all come out on a Sunday morning. But I want to give you a chance to talk, a chance to ask me questions, a chance to make comments. Again, we are in a situation where there is free speech. I don't know, somebody had a comment over here? I'll repeat. I'll repeat his question, I promise you.
Well, he may steal the mic and you'll never get it back.
Anyway, I've gone through the numbers. I looked at them. 14 million increase on question 1, another 2 on question 2. Counting what the state's adding in, another bringing it up to 27 million. Is that correct? Okay. You said we couldn't sell schools, but we did sell Hudson Maxim for 1.2 million. I asked the Board of Education, where did that money go? I think, that's fine, but no one on the board answered. Someone outside of the board did answer. Someone outside the board answered. Someone outside the board answered. And, okay, and I appreciated that. My concern is that we're facing a situation with the board. I really don't remember. All I remember is the person was able to address it satisfactorily. Yeah, and okay. We had a situation a few years ago which the Board of Education was not involved in. Okay, and this regarded the SOARs. Those in phase 1 are now still paying a tax burden. They don't call it taxes, they call it something else. And you got a bunch of incumbent politicians sit there and tell you how they managed the tax burden. That's not true. I'm concerned that here you got a huge sum of money, 27 million, which you said there was no estimates solicited. And I understand that. Until something's approved, you can't get estimates on it. So what's the basis for the 27 million? Where'd that money come from? That's number one. And number two, my interactions with the board have not been positive in terms of their honesty, usually with curriculum. Hey, we're not going to do this, and next thing you know, they're doing part of it, just a couple of months later. Okay, that's right, but part of this goes in. I want to know, okay, hang on. My point is that you're asking for $27 million after you sold an entire school for 1.2 million, and I've done the math too. I was a retired project manager for a major utility company at a nuclear facility, which we had to defend every dollar. 27 million is way out there. What's the basis for the 27 million?
Number of questions. What did we do with the $1.2 million from the Hudson Maxim sale? Ladies and gentlemen, when I got to this district in September of 2018, one of my first tasks put forth by the Board of Education was to look at programs. We had very good programs for college-bound students, and we had very limited programs for kids who decided they wanted to go to work and perhaps get a certification while in high school. As a result, between that and the cell tower sale, we put together programs in construction management. We put together programs in cosmetology. We put together programs. Now we have a food item going, a culinary item going. We decided that it was vital to serve those kids who weren't going to go to a 4-year college or a 2-year college. They needed work. So when my cosmetology students are at the end of their senior year, they take the state test. They pass the test. They are immediately certified to go to work. For the first time this year, we had a young lady immediately enter the Carpenters Union because of the construction program as soon as the year was over. The board allowed me to use that money for new initiatives. Where does the $27 million come from? It's going to take me 2 minutes. Please bear with me. I'm going to give you the cost only, with the idea that 30% of the numbers I used are not being paid for by taxpayers. Underground, I can't hear you, I'm sorry. Yes, by law, it is guaranteed. Let me explain the process. If the referendum passes, the board goes to a company that sells municipal tax-free bonds. The company sells the $27 million in bonds. The board gets a check for that amount of money, and immediately the board puts it in the bank. We are in a government account. We are getting 5.25% interest on our investments. If I put $25 million in the bank and don't use it all right away, and we're not going to be able to use it all right away because we have to go through the bid process, which takes time, we are going to get a significant amount of interest. That is a guard against if prices come in high. Otherwise, it goes to tax relief. $25 million in the bank. If we use $5 million the first year, that'll be a lot. That means we're talking $20 million at 5.25% interest for a possibility of a year and a half. That's a lot of money. That's how the process works. Underground oil heating tank at Durban Avenue, $497,000. Exterior window replacement at Durban Avenue, $1,400,000. If you go to the principal's office in Durban Avenue in the winter, she has paperweights all over her desk for the paper. I said, Catherine, what the heck are you doing? She takes the paperweight off. The window's closed. It blows right off the desk. Those are the original windows at Durban Avenue. We cannot get parts to replace broken ones. Underground oil tank at the middle school, $754,000. Exterior doors and hardware at the middle school, $257,000. Interior gym doors and hardware replacement, $35,000 at the middle school. Roof replacement at the high school, $8,100,000. Auditorium rigging, safety, lighting, sound upgrades, $750,000. Middle school fire door and hardware replacement, $121,000. Durban exterior window facade replacement, $676,000. Middle school unit ventilators replacement, $4 million. Stadium drainage sound scoreboard, $208,000. Hilltop field restoration, $182,000. Gymnasium floor refinish, scoreboard sound, $334,000. Paving repairs in the district, $2 million. Window replacement at the middle school, C-wing window replacement at the high school, and masonry repairs at the high school, totaling $1.6 million. High school exterior window facade replacement, $458,000. Exterior basketball court, playground, and fencing, $250,000. Auxiliary gym roof replacement, $280,000. Science room renovation, $961,000. Second question, Tulsa Trail roof replacement, approximately $1.5 million. We have stadium fieldhouse renovations, unit ventilators at Tulsa, and electrical system upgrade at Tulsa, $2 million. People ask me, why was Tulsa put on a separate question? That is because there was significant discussion during the time I left the district and the time I got back about closing Tulsa Trail. That was before the enrollment increases were beginning to happen, okay? But there was discussion, and as a compromise, the board decided to put that on a second question, which I believe was a formidable thing to do, an appropriate thing to do. Do I want to close Tulsa Trail? No, I do not. One of the misconceptions about classes and enrollment centers on, if you have 100 kids at a grade level, that takes up 4 classrooms. But that's just not true. the Apacong School District has about 27% of its kids special ed students. Many of those kids are in self-contained classrooms, which means a classroom is being used up. Those are called LLD classes, limited learning disability classes. Take up a full room. Another option for programming special ed kids is resource center classes. Those take up a full room, and where kids, instead of taking language arts or math in their regular period, they're pulled out and work with a special education teacher. That takes up classrooms. We have over 100 students in the district who do not speak English. They're in an English language learning program, and that takes up classrooms. So the idea, especially the one that Mr. DiStefano put forth, that 4 classrooms will be used up because there's 100 kids in a grade level, that's bull. It's just not true. And he knew that. It's not like I haven't reviewed that with the board 100 times. So that is the reason for the costs. It's a lot of money. Go ahead. The architect gave us the cost estimates. Because of inflation and because of supply chain difficulties, those are high estimates. If the money is not used, as I said before, it will go back to tax relief. I'm sorry, let me give you the mic.
Because I want to make sure I understand what you said. You're going to collect about 25 million and buy a bond to earn interest. Then you're going to get the money to earn the interest, but only about 5 million is going to be spent in the first year.
That's true.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
But the roof at Tulsa that's about to cave in, which is why I'm here on Sunday, is going to cost 8 million. Okay, so so are we going to do Tulsa right away? Okay.
If we can get the supplies, and that's after the bid process, you can only do roofs in a school on a summer. You can't do them during the school year. We're not sure we'll be able to get the bids awarded by the summer of '24. So that is the reason that I said that we're going to have money in the bank for a while, because I'm not sure that the entire process, remember, the bonds have to be sold, then the bids have to go out. That doesn't happen overnight. Once the bids are awarded, if we can do summer '24, we will certainly do it. Very good question. The question is bond interest. Bond interest rates are somewhat different than what we're looking at with mortgage rates. A district in a neighboring county for a $28 million referendum just sold its bonds at 3.65%. We have estimated 4%, which the architect and engineer thought was a little high, but we're trying to be on the safe side. 4%, that is included in the tax impact. 4% of the bond we have the principal and the interest. We have estimated 4%. If it comes in less, again, we're in better shape. Yes, sir. Sorry, I asked you to speak into the mic so everybody can hear you.
Yeah, no problem. How can we be assured that a building won't be sold after the repairs have been completed?
Great question. How can we be assured that a building will not be sold if the referendum is successful? I cannot recommend to the Board of Education selling a building that has been affected positively by a referendum vote. The board cannot sell that building for 20 years. Does that answer your question, sir? No, it's illegal.
It's illegal
Yes.
to sell it.
There was another district, a neighboring district of ours, had a referendum. They redid a building that wasn't being used. They sold it and they got a significant fine. Yes, sir.
On the figures that you quoted for windows and door upgrades, does that include the latest security measures such as St. Jude's put in, that complete lockdown?
Great question. I am not the security person in the school district, but Mr. Hollenbeck has a significant amount of expertise in that, to the point where he knows his stuff and it is seen as a resource for other districts. We are looking at the highest possible safety and security items as we replace stuff. In the back. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm a little
Why
deaf.
are you doing a referendum when you don't have actual pricing from contractors? One,
We can't. We can't get actual pricing. You can't bid before you have the money. You have to have the money to bid.
an architect and an engineer aren't the ones giving you the bid, so the pricing could be completely different.
The pricing will only be high, it will not be less. And that is because the architects do this with districts all the time. We're one of many, many, many districts that our architect is working with. They do this all the time. They have a good feeling.
What's your contingency plan? Where's your contingency dollar amount allocated? Contingency plans are usually 10 to 15% of the total cost. Where is the money?
The contingency money, if something comes in over cost, A, we have the interest to tap, and B, we have high estimates built in to each of the projects that I've talked about. I am not worried about anything overrunning. I did not understand your question. Excuse me. Please say it into the mic.
You rip off the roof of one of these buildings, right? And there's structural damage that the architect and the engineer did not know about. That's a change order.
It's not going to happen. They've done their
You
homework.
don't know that.
They do know
You
that.
don't know that until you rip the roof.
I
Okay.
know it because they have made sure that they have done their homework as to what needs to be repaired structurally.
Question, how come it's gotten to this point? I've been in this district a long time, and budgets have failed, and now we don't vote on budgets. Now this is a referendum for buildings. I've been here a long time. I don't want to see the kids suffer, by no means. My kids went to this school. I don't want to see it deplete either, because now it's going to be condemned if it's depleted. So why has it gone this far? Like, why couldn't you do a referendum that stated for the roofs? Do a referendum that was for all the windows or the important lighting for the kids. And do it on a referendum that isn't going to attack people by $2-point-something million, that all people are looking at is that price and saying to themselves, oh my God, my taxes are going to go up, and et cetera. That's scary. When you're here and you're living day to day and you see a referendum that high, right then alone you're saying to yourself, how much? That's the first thing you ask is, how high are my taxes? That's a normal question. This is a normal scenario here where we're all going. Now, if that fails, is the town going to come in and help us out? It should have been windows. It should have been roof, a little at a time. This is too much. It's too much for people to look at.
Good question, good comment. Please understand this. The referendum was put together after significant discussion. It was felt that this was the time to take care of items that have been neglected. The question is, how did we get to this point? As I said, there are high school roofs that have been replaced, that have been done over 4 times. They've maintained, now this is before I got here, they've maintained to the best of their ability. When your original roof was put on in 1965, there's a good chance you need to replace it.
I totally agree. I don't want anything to happen to the children here in this town. But there's gotta be, like, before COVID, they knew the roof was going. Believe me, when I was in the school district, the roof was maintained.
Right.
Okay? But as the years go on, you realize as an adult that I think I need to fix the roof.
Right.
So not maintained, so you did get money from the state, I'm sure you.
We got no money from this, we got cut significant money from the state. As I said, we went from $12 million to $4 million a year state aid. It happened, it's happened for the last 5 years and have another year of cuts coming. Ma'am, I was not here before that. I wish I could answer your question appropriately.
Follow up on her question. No one wants the children to be hurt on this deteriorating building. But from a practical viewpoint, as I'll call the school board members politicians, they always skip maintenance on everything, whether they build a bridge or this and the other, skip maintenance. You're talking about spending how much for windows? A lot of money for windows. Why couldn't they have done, okay, we know we have to do windows over the next number of years. Say, okay, we're gonna do the front of the building this year for this amount.
Yep.
The side of the building next year for this amount.
Right.
And work the issue so it's a little at a time.
And that's an excellent point. And the
The other thing, and to guarantee if this money is given, that going forward, the board is gonna be, and I don't blame you for it, I know you're not here, but the board has been here for so long, they skip over this junk for doing other garbage that has nothing to do with anything.
when your budgets fail and when your state aid gets cut, there is no money to do maintenance. And you just can't print money to do something that you don't have the money for. It's impossible.
Does the state require that a certain amount of the budget be spent on?
No, sir.
But isn't it,
I'd like him to reiterate what he just said, because I don't understand it. He said there were other things, and what is the meaning behind that?
well, I've been to school board meetings, my family, both my brothers and sisters are teachers in the district. Well, I'm just asking. But I mean, isn't they teaching out of the school class? That's what they're there. I'm not advocating anything here. I've been this now for 40 years. I've been going through the school for 40 years, starting with Hudson Maxim School, and my kids went there. Okay? This has been going an ongoing problem. Either we fix it now, or we close the schools. We send our kids to Lenape. Hold on. We send them to Lenape. Wait a second. I was talking. They send them to Lenape. I was talking. Now everything is out, and then you don't have to worry about anything. Our taxes are still going to go up. Your taxes.
Shouting at each other is not going to solve anything. Let's please, relax. Finish your thought. The gentleman asked you to explain what you said about the boards not being taken care of, about the board not taking care of them.
You know, over the years, and I got family on the board, and they are taking care of it.
Go ahead,
Okay,
sir.
so you obviously.
Sir, just speak,
So I
speak in
obviously
general.
have a vested interest in this town, in this county. I have a vested interest in it, you're correct, I do. I've lived here, I've lived here for 50 years.
Please, can we maintain civility? It doesn't matter right now. What matters is, can you explain what the board didn't do?
I've just been to board meetings where I say, why aren't you concentrating on this? Over the years, I'm not getting into
Right.
That's not been the board meeting, they were allowing. They got their, this is testimony. But they don't know what's necessary to do what's best for the school district. In reference, obviously they didn't, because they didn't spend money on me.
Like I said, you can't spend money you don't have. Don't say, oh, come on, because A, when the budgets fail, sometimes the town cuts them. B, if you don't understand the state aid problem we're having, and it's been all over the place. When you go $12 million to $4 million. That means we have $8 million less to spend, and we've put some of that onto the taxpayers, but not all of it, certainly. That's been a tough one.
I want to say something about the board. My kids were on the board, and this summer, they spent the whole summer cleaning the schools up and actually putting mulch down because they can't get the maintenance fees to do it. And money that came out of their own pocket to do it. So I don't know what school board meetings you've been going to lately, okay?
Go to one where your kids
Okay,
are at.
okay, well, then you haven't been to them lately. So let's not live in the.
Somebody who hasn't gone yet? Yes.
So I've watched every single meeting as well as your plea to the Borough Council and the back to school night. And I will say that the fact that you called a portion of the public naysayers is kind of unethical. People are entitled to their opinion.
And that's fact.
So I wouldn't call people naysayers. We're all trying to get, all of our information, and that's how, Okay, so that being said, I know you can't continuously roll money. However, what have your auditors recommended? What have your auditors recommended?
Our auditors are totally aware of what we're doing. Our auditors are the same auditors that the town has. They're excellent, and they understand exactly what we're trying to do. And the only time I use naysayers is when people lie, and there's been a fair share of that. They are naysayers.
So, if you had been putting the maximum allowed in for capital projects, you could have been doing a lot of these projects all at once.
There was no money to put into capital projects. That's the problem.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Because, I know you haven't been here for the past 20 years, since the last referendum and all that stuff. However, not doing, now all of a sudden it's urgent, okay? I heard at the back to school night you said that your roof was going to be done until 2025, summer of 2025. So, that's kind of, to me, that this isn't that urgent. I understand, but it should have been started previous to, which is what people are saying. Okay, this is not like, the people that are, kind of questioning this a little bit more, it's not about save the children, okay? Because to us, it's not about that. There are people, like, I'm a homeowner here, and I don't want my taxes to go up the same.
Of course.
Why? Because a gallon of milk went up the same. There's a bunch of things that we, have to pay for. No, you can't. But I can control my vote. So if I can control my vote versus the, grocery store, and I want to vote yes or no, people bashing back and forth, it's silly. Okay? So that being said, why haven't we done like a 10-year plan or something of that nature? Why do we keep spending money not, because I know you weren't here when they did the feasibility study, but why did we spend money on a feasibility study if we could have been spending money on a firm?
Let me talk about the feasibility study.
I don't know. I don't care about the
I do because
You said it doesn't. You know what? It doesn't matter. The feasibility study doesn't matter because we're not looking to get because we're not looking to get rid of Tulsa Trail, which is what he's trying to say. There's other options.
please let the person talking have the floor. Just finish.
A municipality. So, that being said, you could have had that firm help you. Now, you keep saying it's, before you said it's 30%. At previous meetings, you said it's 33%. 33 to 30, back to 40. Those are large percentage differences. Okay. Yeah, sure.
When I first, the state law on debt service aid, that's what we're getting to help us pay for the project should the referendum pass. The state law is 40%. They never respect the state law. So what I had was I posted the amount of money for each project and what the state aid was estimated to be, and that turned out to be the actual state aid. So it comes out to about 32%. When I posted that, I didn't know that, but I wasn't going to change each and everything. But 33% is what we're talking about. And it's just, that's just the way. The law says 40, but we're not getting 40. Yes.
So if we're guaranteed a certain amount of money, you're telling us that they don't respect it. How do we know we're going to actually get that amount of money?
Because once the referendum passes, we're guaranteed the debt service aid.
All right. So, it's been many years since the budget failed and had to go to before they are kept. So again,
Good question, no. Because the question would have failed. It would be inappropriate for us to put money towards a question that failed. They wouldn't let us do it. But that's a good question. It's been, currently it is maintained, it is safe. If the building was not safe, we would not have kids there, believe me. Same as what happened with Hudson Maxim. That building was not safe. We abandoned it over the weekend. Yeah. Both. 2 years in a row. This year and last year.
So even after, say we vote yes and all goes through, I did watch one of the board meetings where we talked about the schools, and it said that, up to 15%, we can still use up to 15% of our, so our enrollment could then be affected.
The enrollment includes choice schools. We already know who's in choice this year. Okay?
So then, also, I will say in the comments on the educational program, I don't really necessarily think they apply because the state is, like you said, backlogged for 2 years on that alone. So nobody's getting any of that money.
It's there.
And it's a reimbursement program. It's not like you're going to see any of that money right away.
But it's there, and if you don't apply for it, you're cheating yourself.
It's still a reimbursement thing. You're not going to get it right away. It's not going to get it this year. It's down the road.
Better to get it down the road than not get it at all.
It's still, still a thing. Backed up. But the legal advertisements for this election alone were like $800. Just to discuss it, just to vote yes or no.
Is there anyone who hasn't gone yet? Right here.
Well, this kind of leads into what you guys were just discussing. Okay, sorry. So it kind of leads into that discussion, right? So I did find, actually somebody showed me where this was, about the 2017 to 2020 audit from the state. And I actually sent you an email, right? I didn't get it yet. But this goes to the whole topic, right? So have we done anything to fix that obviously state acknowledged mismanagement? Have we done anything to fix this? And it is in writing. Yes.
The state controller's office called us and said that they wanted to do an audit on the school from 17 to 20. That was done. The reason they wanted to do an audit was because they were baffled by how much miscellaneous revenue we had accrued with the sale of Hudson Maxim and then the cell tower. They did the audit. We have the report. I'll gladly share the outcome with you. I wasn't sure what... Right. 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 That audit has little to do with the referendum, but please, let me finish, please. Please. I'm going to state bluntly, I don't want to upset anybody. That audit was done 3 years ago, and we've satisfied everything they asked us to do. One of the items that you mentioned, payroll and HR, they wanted a second eye on payroll. That has been done. They also wanted us to break up payroll and HR. I don't have the manpower or woman power to do it, so I have one great employee doing both. That was one part we couldn't do, but otherwise, we did what we had to do. Yes, back here.
So my husband and I moved out here in 2022, and we have a junior and a senior. We got married. Oh, I'm sorry. 2001, we got married. We moved out here in 2002. Sorry. So we've been here for over 20 years. I have a junior and a senior. So if this passes, my kids are never going to see those upgrades or be impacted directly. And I'm a firm believer that it shouldn't have to happen to you to matter to you. I keep hearing Why didn't we do this 5 years ago? Why didn't we do this 6 years? We've been in the district since kindergarten. When most of their friends left the district to go to other schools, we stayed. They applied to Lenape. We checked it out. We did our due diligence. We tried to talk to their principal to see, was it better? They wouldn't meet with us. They wouldn't give us any guarantees. So we stayed here because it was better, because the principal met with us, because the guidance counselors met with us immediately. When Piccarello was here, he met with us. My kids are as Hopakon gets, and we're not going to see those upgrades. But again, it shouldn't have to happen to us to matter to us. And at some point, we have to turn around and say, we want to fix this. I understand. My taxes are going to go up with you. I'm not going to benefit. But you have not seen these kids go to another town to play and see their facilities. Just having a scoreboard matters. You haven't heard the comments when other towns come to our sporting events and make negative comments because Hilltop has a pitcher's mound on it, on the soccer field. At some point, we have to fix it. And we have to be honest with the data. Because when you're not, it shows. Trust me, it shows. So again, it shouldn't have to happen to you, to matter to you, and we need to do this now.
That was excellent. Thank you. I've lived in this town 42 years. I pride myself in my three children who graduated here, and 2 of them are educators in the local surrounding towns. I have 6 grandchildren in this district because we love our town. It doesn't matter if you live on the lake. It doesn't matter if you live in the hills. It doesn't matter if you live in the heights. It doesn't matter where you live. You should love your town. You should be proud of your town. You should want, if you have a house and it's falling apart, you need to reinvest in your house. What happened in the past is in the past. I was involved in Hudson Maxim School when that roof was literally dripping in these classrooms. I spearheaded that project. And in putting good money after bad, after bad, after bad, and fixing it, it finally got replaced. Why does it have to take that much? Because every time there's a vote in this town for the school, somehow it manages not to get through. And right now, I think it's disgraceful that the town council, not everyone, but the town council doesn't support our school district. That is ridiculous. You shouldn't be involved in the town then. If you don't support the town, the Board of Education. Ridiculous. Not ever a stretch. It's minuscule.
I have a loud voice. I probably don't need the mic. Hi, my name is Krista Jeskis. I'm actually raising the 3rd generation of Jeskis family in Hopakon. I'm very proud of it. I wanted to talk about, because I'm going to vote yes. If I had kids in the school system or not, I would have voted yes. However, I do understand, it sounds like most of the concern is that it seems like a lot all at once, and obviously the mismanagement for so many years, but we can't go back and fix that. But can we talk about, if the majority vote is no, is there an option to do it in parts? And I think we were talking about that, like someone over here mentioned. Can we, have one that just covers the roofs, just covers, so it's smaller so that everyone else can handle it, especially those who are worried about, our taxes going up all at once?
That is a good question. Question being, can we break it up into a smaller referendum should this one fail? The answer is that is a possibility. It would mean prioritization of all the projects. It would mean a lot of work, which is okay, but that might be an outcome. I've started working on a contingency plan that, as I said, will be ready by the October board meeting. My cohort, Mr. Hollenbeck, the business administrator, is a significant part of that, and we will come up with something, but that is a thought, and that is something that we will consider. Less than $200, just less than
About $20.
Yes. The average home in impact on $219,000, the tax impact is just less than $200 a year. Well, as I said, 52% of your taxes are school taxes. And I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I heard from a number of citizens. If give me a minute here. I want to get this right. As I said before, according to the Sussex County website on tax assessment, a PACON pays $3.49 per $100 in property taxes. For the average home of $216,000 plus, it would be $7,557, but only 50% of that is a school tax. So the tax impact would be $3,778. I'm sorry. The increase would be 5% of that. That's a big difference than saying your tax bill is going to go up 7 to 10%. It's big. Sir.
Part of the problem is we live in Sussex County. I don't need the mic. We live in Sussex County. Nobody cares about Sussex County as a Republican town. Nobody really gives a damn about us. And maybe rest on the state level and deal with those people in order to get the funding. We were cut 12% down for no reason at all. And where does it go? In the inner cities. And they waste money there on a constant basis. We're not seeing that here. It doesn't matter the board right now or the mayor or the new mayor coming in. It doesn't matter. We're in the tax. And we get treated as good in this state. And that's what we need to look at, is why we're here. And nobody wants to address that fact.
Time. Please know that we have met with legislators. We've done our best at the state level. We've put our comments into the state. It really was to no avail. Yes, we have a grant coming forward, which we'll announce on Monday night. We're waiting for the state to give us final say. It's called a ROD grant, and it will be for some facilities work. Yes, sir. We're gonna finish up very soon, please.
Two quick points. During the past year, my house is not one of them, but a number of houses were visited by the assessors for the purpose of audit and increase tax. So that tax increase was based on that's not just school.
Well, because the tax increase if they're making
You're talking
I respect that. I have a question from a new person here.
So I moved in about 7 years ago, roughly 7 years ago. And everyone complains about everything here. We all agree. Everybody. Doesn't matter if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing. Are we right? Nobody complains when the kids are playing baseball and they have their Hopacon uniforms on. Or when the Cub Scouts are at Hopacon days. Guess where they go? Go to Hopacon. Correct? All right. I'm a building engineer by trade. I manage buildings throughout all of Manhattan. Okay? Someone mentioned about why don't we just fix the windows or fix the roofs or fix this. Every single time you would want to do this project, you would have to have a new vote for it, sell new bonds at different interests. Is that what we want? Is that something that we need in town? When you go fix your car, do you just fix one tire or would you rather fix all 4 tires at the same time? Like, let's... Wait. No, go ahead. No, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to. Go ahead. The base problem being the roof. But everybody's So as I said, I'm a building engineer. I'm dealing with a $12.5 million project right now. $12.5 million project right now. We overbid the project. And guess what? We have to return money. We sold bonds. It's going to occur. It's going to occur. But we need to fix it now, not 5 years from now when we're in the same room having the same discussion with either a school or no school. Mike, there's a waiting list. There's a waiting list for the pre-K. My son, my little one, 4 years old now, is on the waiting list. Well, was. Now he just got in, so congratulations. Yeah. So there is more children moving in. There's younger kids. We went in Cub Scouts, we see the kids coming in. People moving into town. Like, guys, it's the young families that are coming in with young children that are going to buy your house. Not an 80, 90 years old. No disrespect. Yeah. We need to invest in our town. We complain that the sidewalks are not done. I wait for my kid at the liquor factory, and kids almost get hit on the street on Lakeside Boulevard because there's no sidewalks. When do we talk about that? We don't talk about that. Guys, we need to invest in our town. This is our town.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I agree. We need schools. I live on the lake. My taxes put me into tax auction last year. I just got myself out of it. I do not want to see our town fail. I don't want to see our kids fail. I don't want to see a football field without a scoreboard because I agree. It is absolutely embarrassing. But what I also don't want to see is what I feel is a plan that really hasn't done its due diligence. And it hasn't gotten, maybe you can't get real estimates, but you can have people come into the office and you can walk through and you can get some kind of an idea. I did a little investigation, and Pope John in Sparta built a middle school for 350 kids for $4.5 million 3 years ago. Why can they do that and we need $27 million for fixes? Maybe we're just not spending it the right way. I'm not saying we don't need this stuff. I'm just saying $4.5 million for a 350 kid middle school, this kind of money gives us 5 of those. That's not my point. My point is they didn't go to the taxpayers. They funded for that. They got them. It doesn't matter. $4.5 million to build the building. Private or public, I'm just saying Are we spending $27 million the right way?
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've accomplished our purpose today. I have handouts here that are descriptions of each of the projects. I'm going to leave them at the door. You can feel free to take one, or you can check the website. It's all on the website. I would ask again, all I'm asking, make an educated decision. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. You're welcome, dear.
Turn the mic off so no one hears me. Just a quick question. These guys, I was tending to
You know what?
and I'm not blaming you. They heard you.